I enjoyed it very much. Then there's an ongoing community vote again for this epoch. So all the owners can vote about the most engaged Boule member. We already did this once, so this is like the second turn and it's ongoing. So just go to snapshot if you have some Aladdin tokens. Then I sent a message out that we're adding new Boule members for season 2. I will talk about this later after the presentations. If you have time, then we can discuss more or less. It depends how much the presentation take. Then we're going to have a non-fungible token for bonders. And I don't have much information about this, so maybe Sharlyn, you can say a few words what's going on there.
Yeah, so we definitely need to raise more capital, right, for the treasury, for the amazing Boule Council to manage. So next week, we plan to put out a series of NFT, and that will be linked to bond sales. And you know, the people who get those NFT from the bond sale will be eligible for a lottery draw. So just to give a boost to the bond sales. And we definitely need help to increase exposure for Aladdin and also on the bond sales side. So if guys have any suggestions, how we can improve on that front, please let us know.
Yes, thanks, Sharlyn. So what we're going to do now, I just make a recap short because, yeah, for the public. So we are in this intermediate season. So it's like a warm up for the season 2. So every Boule member is asked to present a dedicated strategy for the presenting protocol he did present. We have these meetings now, and then at the end we make a vote for every proposed strategies. We call this the initial allocation event. So this will be the first time the Boule members have to back up their vote with XLD basically. And then, yeah, this intermediate season is also to educate, the Boule a little bit what's going on and how the season 2 will work. And we changed the voting system for the season 2. I won't now repeat the voting system, but what I have is a short document which shows how the valuation is for the virtual portfolio we're going to construct for the Boule members. And this is also, it's not about this intermediate season because the protocol already have been chosen and presented, and then we stick with this, but for the new season 2. So this is just a short, Kruger wrote this and he named it the Golden Rules of Aladdin Strategies. So just that we're looking for long-term stuff, and I guess even in a choppy or bear market is even more important to look at the long-term stuff and find long-term value. And the performance evaluation, the virtual portfolio is based on the total, at the dollar value of this strategy you propose. So we had this Lido example, and because Kruger made so a nice chart, this is a good example for Lido. And to get Lido, there's like this convex convert curve pool SST. You could form Lido and farm Lido. And we see there's some kind of value. If you see, there's like two possibilities to get Lido, buy it or farm it basically. And if you buy it, then you have the full exposure to the Lido price. That's here in blue. This is over the last 3 months basically. This is the blue line. You see it's going up more than ETH, but then it's going down more than ETH itself. If you invested ETH in the pool, and then you get the same. You see the performance difference. So this always, if you propose strategies, the question what you propose, if you want a more risky or more less risky approach. And so today's, after the presentation, I will call about the how we're going to add new Boule members. And but now we start up with the presentation, And the lineup today is Rodney will talk again about Maple and propose a strategy there. Then we have Jason, who took Banco. Then Tom, who was one of the first presenters in the first season. He will again show us a strategy for Lemma. I guess there's only one strategy, as I did see. And then it's again Jeff Shee. They choose a strategy for Convex. And so maybe it's just that, the idea is that you make like a short recap about the protocol, and then we go direct to strategy. So I know I put Rodney first here. So are you?
Yep.
Are you ready? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I can present. Can I get
maybe it's just as an intro, maybe because now we're in a different market situation and it takes some time since the presentation. Maybe there's also some time to reflect, what's going on with the protocol itself or the project you did choose, and how did it hold up in this market condition.
Yeah, I can give like an overall update.
Yeah, I guess this would be interesting. Thanks. Ronnie, I can't hear you. Are you talking? I don't know.
Yeah, I just want to confirm if you guys can see my screen right now.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just have to unmute my mic. Awesome. So I presented this quite some time ago. Lots of stuff has changed. So I'll have to update you guys on the slides as I go, but I'll just jump right in. So Maple is under collateralized loans for institutions primarily. I've talked with Sid, the founder, and we've talked a lot about things like debt for DAOs and stuff like that. And I know the Maple team is like quite innovative and they have a lot of really cool ideas on how to expand their platform moving forward, but a lot of this stuff does take a lot of time. So in general, in summary, how Maple works is you'd browse the lending pools, you choose a lending pool based on performance, you deposit your USDC to stake and earn rewards, and the lending pool funds loans to top crypto institutions. The rewards that you earn off of the USDC, which I'll go in later, are like partially in USDC and partially in Maple tokens, which can make this like a very attractive opportunity potentially, but also exposes you to like Maple price action. So the different parties are the lenders, pool delegates, and the borrowers within the equation of Maple Finance. And then after all of it, I'll go over the Aladdin strat that I have for Maple too. So the people who lend on the protocol, they're like lending through pools put together by the pool delegates, and they earn yield from diversified loans basically. So the pool delegates syndicate loans from the lenders to the borrowers, and they also do things like all the due diligence, but I'll touch on that once I get to their section. As you can see here, the lenders make up the lent capital within these pools. So one thing that you can do as a lender is not only can you deposit USDC to the lending pool, you can also after that stake the Maple pool token to get additional rewards. So right now I'll only be going over really the first section of rewards, but the second section of rewards kind of does boost the APYs to be higher as well. And here's an example of the types of firms right now lending on Maple Finance. So you see Dragonfly and Nascent, some pretty good funds. So the pool delegates earn yield from the pool, but in exchange, they have to do things like underwriting of loans or help with underwriting, and also sourcing different deals for the syndicated debt. So the pool delegates, they're increasing the AUM of the pool, but also, yeah, as I mentioned, like sourcing deals as well. Each of the pools is just managed by a single delegate. So I think right now Maple has between 6 or 9 pools. The pool delegate is responsible for, all of the loan negotiations, and they're incentivized to do a good job, because otherwise they wouldn't earn a percentage of the yields generated by the pool. If the pool ends up doing poorly, then the pool delegates would do poorly as well. And the pool delegates have staked Maple at risk as well. So here an example of like the pool delegates within the Maple ecosystem. You have the Maven 11 and you have orthogonal trading at the top. You can see who specifically at the firm is like managing the pool as well. If you look at the bottom and see the names, if you wanted to do more due diligence. These were the initial pools when I first made my presentation. Now there are, the quantity of pools have doubled with several more very reputable players joining the Maple ecosystem. As for the borrowers, we can go into that piece as well. Most of them are like market makers. If you look into them and look at the kind of stuff they do, a lot of prop traders, or hedge funds. A lot of the time, these parties, they just want like access to as much debt as possible, because they take on things like risk neutral strategies within crypto, and they try to like max out all of their capital lines. I think that was like an especially big deal like several months ago, where there just wasn't that much access to things like under collateralized debt within crypto. I think now there still isn't too much access, and I'll go into, I guess, like Maple's updated stats, but it seems like the amount of demand that a lot of these counterparties have for debt is still like not fully met by the amount of outstanding debt within the market. And then as you can see, you have like Alameda and Wind Tribute being like some of the largest borrowers on the platform. So the strategy is to lend money to inexperienced pool delegates in exchange for interest payments in Maple governance tokens and also USDC, somewhere between 25 to 28%. That was the APY back when Maple price was a bit higher, around $20. I think APYs at this Maple price, which is now around $12 to $13, are between like 14% or so, or like 18% or so. So the APYs have dropped a little bit, and that's because you're like kind of like making your returns have like a correlation with Maple price. So if you think Maple price will stay still, then you can kind of expect this APY. But if you're expecting Maple price to go up, then this APY could potentially be higher. This was what the statistics look like for Maple's traction up till November. Just as an update, the protocol now has like over $550 million of loans loaned out. So definitely lots has changed with their progress, and it seems like the growth really hasn't slowed down or anything like that. And jumping into this slide, here are the exact stats as of like November. When I initially made this presentation, the fully diluted value for Maple has changed from like 210 million, which was like around $20, to I think this morning it's like 120 or 130 million, which is like around 12 or 13 bucks. TVL, as I mentioned, it has gone up. So Maple has gotten cheaper and made more progress, whereas TrueFi on the right here, the fully diluted value has gotten slashed by more than half, I think. So it should be around 300 and 400 million dollar fully diluted value as a protocol. But the TVL, the fully diluted value is like 400 million, and the TVL itself has like also dropped a lot too, to around 600 million. So actually Maple and TrueFi almost have like a similar amount of debt outstanding now, whereas before there was like a lot of a bigger lead for TrueFi. The APYs for TrueFi are still lower than Maple as well, even after Maple's prices dropped too. One other thing I'd like to note that I didn't include here in my November presentation is that Goldfinch is like a competitor as well. And as you guys probably have been following, Goldfinch had their token launch. I think it was like a week ago at this point, or maybe 2 weeks ago. So Goldfinch is like TVL in terms of like loans originated is I think sitting around like 70 million or 60 to 70 million. But the fully diluted value for Goldfinch right now is around 850 million, which like is 5 to 7 times higher than like Maple's fully diluted value. But Goldfinch itself has around 8 to 9 times less loans originated. So Maple has like Maple could potentially be like pretty undervalued given that they've originated roughly like 8 times more loans but have an 8 times lower price. So these are the pros and cons of Maple. It's like a more decentralized model in comparison to TrueFi because of the pool delegates doing the majority of like underwriting and due diligence for different like debt that's outstanding, unlike TrueFi, which has like a more like centralized approach to picking which pools to launch. And there's also I wrote as a pro like fast growing TVL due to scalable underwriting model, and we have seen that their TVL has continued to grow at the same pace it's grown before, at around $100 million a month. The token right now is still it doesn't have like a clear strategy for I guess like how it rewards users apart from like the pool tokens and the incentives that they have there. And the one con that's still true is that borrowers are not very brand loyal, and like only the best terms get the money. And I think that'll continue to be true. Though I think in addition to this, though, I like to add that like I think business development and like relationships of these protocols are like a big part of it too. And I think that protocols with teams that have a lot more hustle would probably be able to originate more loans. But yeah, in summary, with the APYs that we see now and the traction that the project has made, I think that it's reasonable to assume that if Goldfinch is trading at like 8 times more price, but like has like 8 times less loans, then there could potentially be like upside potential for Maple, and Maple tokens might be like greatly undervalued given the traction that they've had so far. And that means that if we deposit USDC into their pool and Maple price like on average goes up over time and maybe like reaches a more reasonable valuation for the comps that it has on the market, if things iron out, then the APYs that you'd earn if Maple price went up would be like a lot higher over time. So if like right now at this price, it's like roughly 14 to 18%. If Maple price were to have 5 to 10x, then the APY could like 2.5 to 5x. Potentially reaching like 50 or 100% APY with relatively no risk, given that pool delegates are incentivized to do a good job, which is why I think this is like a pretty exciting project to participate in. And the strategy, I guess, in summary, would be to participate in the highest earning pool with USDC and lend it out to those borrowers.
I had one question. I think I remember looking into this and realizing that the loan terms were pretty long. Like, I think, what is the lockup period for if we were to do this with, say, USDC?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think every pool has like different like lockup periods. I'd have to like quadruple check to see the terms of every single one of these pools because I'm not sure if they've changed from before. But I think it still is the 90 days that was before. We would ideally have like a more long-term position on something like on a farm like this, because you'd have to wait until like there's price action that would appreciate Maple in order for all of the interest that you've earned to have been earned at like a higher APY, given like market prices have gone up.
Yeah, totally. No, that makes sense. Thanks.
And hey, Rodney, what you'd mentioned, some key things had changed since last time you presented. Can you just highlight those? Because I didn't catch them at least.
Yeah, the price has gone down roughly 40% or so for Maple, but the amount of loans originated has like almost doubled. And at the same time, something like, a Goldfinch came to market, and Goldfinch's fully diluted value is, initially it was like 3.3 billion, then it went to like 1.5. I think now it's like 800 million in fully diluted value for like 70 million of originated loans, which is roughly like, about 8x like Maple's fully diluted value. So it's a lot more expensive like Goldfinch, but at the same time, they have roughly like 8x less traction. So like my thesis around that would be there could be like a lot of upside potential for Maple given like Goldfinch's market valuation, given that they're like head-to-head competitors in a way within the same market. And so like if you farm with USDC and don't take like direct exposure to the beta of Maple, but instead like have exposure to it through farming, then it could be like a very attractive option given the amount of upside carved out through like Goldfinch's like trailblazing launch.
I'm curious because I'm not as familiar with Goldfinch as I am with Maple, but my understanding is they're more focused on emerging markets and potentially individuals, if I know that correctly, in emerging markets.
Yeah, I think
versus
Goldfinch like primarily like gives debt to like other syndicators of debt. It's like the equivalent of pool delegates, but like in the real world. So they'd work with like people who lend out money to other people as a business and lend money to those people, sometimes in developing countries. But it's like
Got
the Web2 version of pool delegates.
Yeah, so it's a little more, quote unquote, retail focused than Maple, which is obviously purely institutional and like market makers and such.
Yeah, exactly. It would be interesting to see them servicing the same customers through some roundabout way, but given like the types of like pool delegates, quote unquote, that like Goldfinch is using, I don't think that those guys have the same type of customers that the pool delegates that Maple is using would be sourcing for these sorts of deals.
Yeah, got it. And that's kind of the thread I wanted to pull in terms of just comparing the prices in TVL and such, since they are going after different target markets.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see that Goldfinch's like market has like a relatively higher multiple associated with it, given that like Maple's market of borrowers would a lot easier be able to do things like have on-chain like proof of their revenues, which are predictable, to like de-risk loans and make underwriting easier. But I guess like the pool delegates within Goldfinch's case are businesses that have been lending capital as a business before they started sourcing capital from Goldfinch. So yeah, pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, that's cool. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So you would, maybe I guess it would make sense if you just choose a pool for us. Basically, it's easy,
Yep.
for a pool. So it's just that I think at the end we will have like a snapshot vote, and then it's just that you just write it to me, and then we will consult. We will make a draft for the snapshot vote, and then we will ask everyone if they agree on what we took off the presentation. And,
Yep.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think it's interesting also to see, now with some distance or time and the different market sentiment, how this didn't change much in a way, just of course price down, but that's just like every project basically. Thank you. So next, maybe I had like a lineup and I showed it before, but I would like if Jeff is ready, because last time he should be the last in the last presentation, and now if we don't make it to all the presenters, and he will be skipped again, so maybe he can be next.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Cool.
Let me just pull up this one pager.
Yeah, maybe you also can make a short recap about what's going on Convex side and some reflection, what's happened the last few weeks or months.
Yeah, so I think when we started it, when I first presented the curve convex research was like September or October or something, and the proxy battle was just kind of starting and kicking off. The valuation is obviously a lot higher now, but in short, it's still a good strategy. So basically, yeah, it's majors are in a bear market, and like I'm kind of going through and seeing what the criteria is for what what we can hold for essentially what is a 3 to 6 month lockup. I think the strategy was supposed to be set for 6 months. So last week there were plenty of good stablecoin strategies presented. So I figured we can do something that tracks the market beta. What I mean by that is that like you're not really concerned with the market volatility. You just assume that like in 6 months or whatever, 12 months, total crypto market cap is going to be higher, and then you have to track that market beta benchmarking in ETH, right? So I picked an ETH protocol, and one that has pretty much weathered the rest of the DeFi blue chip drawdown. Like, yeah, it's true, Curve doesn't generate a ton of revenues, but it definitely has captured a ton of liquidity. And the composability thing I'll build on later. So the simplest strategy is just going to be to buy Convex and vote lock it and delegate it on Podium as a kind of fire and forget. What this does, like you get the base CRV, CVX rewards, but then you also get the bribes from all the new protocols. So it's like you could chase the meta and like keep rotating to the new EVM and then like punt into the new primitive, like all that stuff. But you don't really have to, as long as these new protocols are incentivizing Curve and then therefore Convex to control the gauge. So if you go to like Llama Air Force, it'll kind of show you the breakdown. And I think the effective APR has been close to 40%, especially as bribes have picked up. And then, yeah, essentially, I was able to accumulate like all these other tokens, even like Luna on a different chain. New protocols like Angle, Alchemix. So you get this basket of solid projects, just without having to do anything. And then of course the majority of the Convex is vote locked, and it controls actually more than 50% of VECRV now. So there are like some other new experimental things. So we don't really know how the VE vote lock 3.3 on Phantom is going to turn out. That's like something I would say can be done like personally as an experiment, but difficult to pitch to the DAO like straight off the bat. So that's pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I have some addition, there's like the Llama guys, Air Force guy, he did like something called Union. And what you can do, the problem is if you don't have a lot of Convex, then you get many different tokens, and some is just dust, it's just dust, it's maybe $50 or so, and then it accumulates. So if you let it there, that's okay. But I guess the thing is that the dust is, some of these protocols bribe only once or twice or 3 times, and then you end up with dust. And what the Llama guys did, they call it Union. You can join it on the same website, and then they pool the bribes and sell it against convex, I guess. So and then they distribute it back. So they streamlined this process somehow. But then it's different. You don't. The good thing about this, you get the bag of maybe future protocols about our strategy, but you also got the dust you can't move because of the fees. Yeah, just the latest development from this side. But maybe you can add a few words about the V33 thing, because I missed it. So I didn't have time to research this. And if you have some more
well, so the other thing
information.
about this is that so the concept of that is that you want a combination of vote locking and boosting rewards without another protocol being able to control that supply, like kind of what happened with Curve and Convex.
Yes.
So I think they're limiting it to like 20 protocols will hold an NFT that will have some governance power to begin with, and then to get like the only people that benefit from boosted APRs are the ones that are time locked for a long time. So I think it strips out the ability for somebody else to become the booster. But again, that would be like a very long-term strategy as well. Once you're locked in, you won't be getting out. So whereas like CVX, you're out in 16 weeks. So
yes. Yeah, another addition to this topic, or there's like an ongoing, I think there's a token sale in a few days, and there's a project called Bribe, which they try to generalize what Convex made, basically. I don't know much, I just did see it on Twitter, but it's interesting that the one on FTM tries to limit, somehow the risk of this, and there's another project who tries to generalize the Convex style bribery somehow as a meta government.
I think there's a couple other ones out there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think there are any questions about this, or I think Convex is well known, and
Yeah, by the way, we already have full Convex votes at Aladdin DAO platform right now for product demo. And so
exactly.
I think we can add more, right? So when we go into the voting process, so Jeff, you just feel free to propose more specific votes, which I think highly of. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think he proposed to buy Convex basically and lock it up and collect yield on this. So it's a very different strategy than
just basically because we had a bunch of good stablecoin strategy presented. I figured we'd have a more volatile one, just as an option. So
okay. So then we just go to the next one, I guess. Thank you very much. So we have either Tom or Jason with Banco.
Oh yeah, here.
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, just a short intro. We had Jason asked me, what Banco version 3 is not live. So I asked him just to pick a strategy for version 2, and then if it's going to be live before we vote, maybe it's going live next week or so. Then he just reaches in and fresh strategy for version 3.
Because 2 months is quite long for DeFi project. So they announced it in last November. So basic recap, Banker is the first OG AMM, and they introduced a single-sided yield farming for AMM projects as well. And for V3, they're having a goal to maximize the passive yield. For current status of farming on V2, for stable coins, we can have USDC, USDT DAI with around more than 25 to 30% APR. For the protocol token itself, BNT, it has different APR on different pools, but generally it's above 40%. So when you're farming on Banker, you should be careful. So you should have the pool with a shield icon, because only these pools are covered by only in these pools your IR loss is covered by the protocol. These pools should be whitelisted by Banker's governance. So for now, for example, if you want to farm on USDC, you will notice there's no space left. So unless more people are staking BNT into this pool. And also in V2, you can notice inconvenience here that the APR for BNT is different on all these pools. So in V3, I think the notable features they are introducing is Omni pool for BNT stakers. So if you are staking BNT, you are actually getting trading fees from all these trading pairs. But for now, you can only, for example, you can only choose certain different pools and collect fees from that pool itself. But after V3, you can just stake BNT, have the same APR, collecting fees from all the different pairs. And for other stable coins or some third-party coins, they also introduce something like VE mechanism. So as a protocol, as a project, you can try to bribe more liquidity by providing your own tokens as a reward, either as a direct reward, or you can also use this reward to cover the user's IR loss. So this is becoming more flexible. Not only for, I think it's not only for the usual casual farmers, but it's also for like some new projects. So this is why I'm interested in Banker. So to my understanding, it's both beneficial for Aladdin DAO and for other farmers. So for Aladdin, I think it should be a good approach to like have a protocol level cooperation with bankers to try to whitelist ALD BNT pool, bootstrap liquidity, and this way will help Aladdin DAO to lock more ALD tokens into the banker pools. And also, Aladdin DAO can use ALD to cover the IR loss on V3 pools. And using this method, it's also possible to like bribe more users to bring more liquidity to help the ecosystem of Aladdin DAO. And for a casual farmer, for now, the only strategy you can do now is by subscribing the notification, like if there's any space available. And also by looking at the price of BNT tokens, it's quite stable from last year after the price drop. So it's always jumping around $4. So it's also available for you to like have a very small bag farming with the BNT tokens and choosing either of these big rewarding pools. So yeah, that's it. So any other questions? I think a lot of stuff should be more clear when V3 is online, and especially when we're deciding to see like what we can do with Aladdin DAO.
So I have two questions. The first is, I did look at this and I didn't understand why the USDC API is so high. Is this coming from the trading fee only? Because it doesn't much. I don't think it does much. You know.
Yeah, I did. I didn't track the historical data, but I think it's not that high before, like 2 months ago.
It's a strange numbers.
Yeah,
because somehow.
Because the nature of Banker is they're using the protocol income to cover the IR loss. So their overall APR should be somewhat smaller comparing with other platforms. I didn't do like historical research on this APR. So
it's just that also now, if you look at the number 30%, and you see they have 7,000 fees,
Yeah.
And the liquidity, it doesn't match somehow. I don't know how this number is generated. Just
Yeah.
maybe it's a question for Bank or more.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, but for
Yeah, and
for Ethereum pool, I think it's the number is for Ethereum WBTC. These numbers are very correct. And yeah, I also have questions for USDC. Yeah, because I never have a chance to actually deposit.
yeah, that's the drawback. So, but if you have to choose one, so your idea for strategies that you propose that we should get the whitelist, or
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe Aladdin DAO could have a cooperation with them. So
okay,
yeah.
But we are not. What we are looking for now, for the vote is that you have basically to choose one of the possible pools we can invest, basically.
Yeah, because almost top pools are limited right now, unless more
okay,
BNB
that's a really drawback.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see how we handle it. So what we see now is also still, if we change like the before, in season 1, the idea was like that we integrate the protocols. And now even if you go to simple strategy, it's not so easy to the world is complex somehow. We also will see that on the next presentation with Tom.
Yeah, and they also have
totally fine.
like V stuff later in V3, and also for V3 you can use your own token to cover the loss.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, I think this is one of the few features. I think this is that's now it's becoming more to discuss. But
yeah,
I think this is one of a very nice feature because basically, farming is you distribute money to everyone, and it would be make much more sense if you only pay people if they experience impermanent loss. And I guess having this feature on a pool, it's very nice because then it's really, as you said, we can just decide to take the loss or pay for the loss, but not pay for the general liquidity. Basically, that's what you can do with this. Okay, thank you. So next
question.
Yeah.
So what's the criteria to be whitelisted on Banco?
I think for now you should get the governance voted for certain pools.
Do you know roughly like what's the bar is?
Yes. I'm not sure for the governance because if you're trying to like buying tokens for that, it should be quite expensive. So it's not easy to do that in V2, and in V3, the protocol can use their own tokens to essentially has the same effect, but you should have using your own tokens.
What I did see in the Banco form, people propose, but then is the question: do they get impermanent loss protection from Banco, and are they? I think this is like you can get listed like I don't know, it's not for free, but there's like different categories. One is just listed, one is with impermanent loss protection. The third is that you get like incentivized with Banco.
Yeah.
But for version 3, I guess it will change, because then.
Yeah,
open.
Yeah, and as for V3, there's I think there'll be many pools with a lot of bribes for farmers. So we should just choose after V3 is online.
Yeah. Thank you. So we have 10 minutes. So I know, Tom, would you agree to shift you to next? I don't, I will shortly talk about the incentive about the new Boule, adding new Boule members because.
I can go quickly. My presentation can be very short.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Cool. I think this is. I gotta. Sorry, I need to allow Zoom to see my screen. Yeah. Oh, okay. I need to
Yeah, I think you need to
I need to quit and reopen. Okay, I'll be back on in 1 second.
Yeah. See you again. Yeah, maybe I talk a little bit outlook on the new voting, adding new Boule members. So one of the feedback we had in one of the calls was that we should try to get fresh blood, basically. And so the system, we will add up to 10 new Boule members, and it's like we will see how much inflow we have. And the idea is, I did post it in the Discord, also with links. We have like 2 forms. One of the form is that it's for you if you propose somebody, so that you tell us who you are proposing. And the other thing is to fill out from the person you want to be as a candidate. And these are like 2 forms. That's basically this, And the thing is that if you have a candidate who then is voted in, you will get reward for this. We have these talent hunter rewards. And the thing is that if it depends on the performance of the person who you proposed and who's been voted in, and the better the performance of this new member is, the more you will get rewarded. And the reward will be like without limit as long as you are a member of the pool yourself. And yeah, it's on Discord. There are like 2 links, and otherwise just ask. And yeah. Sorry,
So,
I did just.
I'll just add a point to that. So you want to recommend something really smart, right? Because the payout out of that talent hunter incentive pool will really depend on how this new pool member perform over time. And as long as you both are in the game and you get paid, so choose the best strategy, right, to maximize there is someone who can really perform in this game and on ongoing basis.
Yes. So I will share some links on the chat during the Lemma presentation of Tom.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool.
Go ahead.
Great. Okay. So yeah, I will just try to run through this quick so we can hopefully be done by the end of the hour. I just got word, so I've been in contact with the founder, and I just got word he thinks timeline, this will come up later, but timeline is next couple of weeks for more space opening up in the protocol. So just briefly, reminder of what basis trading is and kind of what Lemma is in relationship to that. So you open a market neutral position, or 2 positions that end up being market neutral. And then, so you have no price exposure to the underlying asset. Right now, there's only Ethereum, and your yield is based on funding rates, which have historically been positive in crypto. So, and then in the case of Lemma, there's a stable coin that is minted against this position. So yeah, kind of my pitch for why Lemma. I mean, I think, I guess one thing I try to look at as much as possible is like alternative sources of yield. I think there are a lot of projects that are interesting, but are being, the yield comes from, it's sort of propped up by speculation on the governance token or what have you that you're being paid in. And this is, seems to me like a really good bet for if you think like a bear market is coming along, because this is truly market neutral and it doesn't involve any speculation, at least for right now. I think there is a good chance that they will do payouts in a native governance token, but at least for right now, you're just getting yield in USDC, and that's that. So that's like, I think, a good option for like a low speculation environment. I also think that, yeah, if in the case that they do start paying out in a Lemma token, being very early to that, is exciting. And I think that this is, you know, it's an exciting opportunity for retail users who would just never get really the option to access yield from basis trading unless they did it themselves, which is kind of, I think, just a little too complicated for your average retail user to figure out. So it's sort of this thing that only exists in crypto. And I think it's like, could be a large market for retail users specifically. And yeah, so basically the Aladdin strategy I'm suggesting is simple. There's only a single vault currently that's based on ETH basis trading. And yeah, so it would be, you know, we would think about it as a, you know, a stable coin strategy, because there's no, it's not like we're holding ETH. There's no price exposure to ETH. So basically, yeah, just kind of, there are some little details here. So because it's very new, it's still in beta, which meant that the phase they're at right now is that they have a $1 million cap, and they're sort of you know, waiting before upping the cap. But I just heard from Matt, the founder, that he thinks in the next couple weeks, which I think should align well with our timeline, there will be new allocation. So I'm hoping that we can, you know, if this gets voted in, we can, you know, just be in contact with Matt about basically reserving the allocation we want. And I think that there's a good chance that he'll be interested in that, because it's, you know, I think he's excited to work with us and bring our community kind of into his community. So yeah, that's basically it. It's pretty simple. It's, you know, it's just sort of like a stable coin strategy, and there's a single vault, and it's a bet on a very new protocol. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I also did, yeah, that's cool. I guess it's interesting to see again, you know, after some time. Now maybe they're more close to the public version of this, and then we will see how this works out. Yeah, I shared some information about the Boule. Sorry, yeah.
No,
I just shared some more information, the same on the Discord, about adding, how we want to add new Boule members for the season 2, and yeah, read it up and think about people you think are want to join us, and you're welcome. And I think it's also for myself, you know, think of your people you know who can be interested in this, and find a good candidate for this. And what we did say, you know, this is before I close the call, and we asked, you know, we were talking about if we should allow people from Aladdin Boule Plus, if we should, you know, make a system for them that they can nominate somebody and then we vote for. But we decided that if somebody from the Boule Plus wants to be a candidate, then he should ask like his favorite Boule member, basically. So if you get somebody DM you from the Boule Plus asking you if he can be your candidate, so yeah, you have to, I don't know how to handle that, you know, check the person, or deny, or what you, it's up to you what you want to do. And you also can propose more than one person for this as a new Boule member. Yeah, I guess we hit the hour now, and I close this call. So see you next week at the same time again, and looking forward to be on the next call.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Thanks,
for
guys.
joining. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.